welcome back, my friends. I know, I'm late. I was actually on time last week, but I didn't realize that Riot had taken a little break. But either way it goes, we are back for patch 26.14. And we've got a lot of little news to cover here. I'm actually not going to watch the video this time. We're just going to look at the too long didn't watch. And first things first, League of Legends Classic, which I was not really hyped for. I thought it was kind of interesting at first when I heard about it, but I wasn't super interested in it. I personally started playing the game back in Season 4. I'd been a fan before then, but you know, I was young and I didn't have my own PC, so I wasn't able to play this game really until I got like my first little laptop, which is when I installed the game. So I believe the champion on the start screen was Vel'Koz at the time when I first actually started being able to play the game myself. So yeah, they're bringing back Season 3, the era of Kassadin. And man, does this make me feel old. This makes me feel so old just looking at this. Big controversy though for Classic. For anyone who hasn't seen any Classic gameplay, a lot of these champions use their new models, and you'll have to unlock and or purchase, I believe, a lot of the Classic models for some of these champions. So that was something that a lot of people weren't super happy about. A lot of people were like, if you were going to do the Classic experience, you should just put Old League in the game. So yeah, if you happen to be someone who played during the old days like I did, or if you happen to be a new person who's just super interested after seeing a lot of the old videos, I am a little excited to see what happens here. For me personally, when I think of Classic League, I think of 10,000 HP, 500 ability power Scion with a point and click stun that deals half your health and damage. Regardless, I'm not super interested in that. I just wanted to go ahead and mention it since it's there. Now, let's move on to the patch notes. Now, the TFT season is also coming to an end. I have played maybe 5 games of the current TFT set. I'm sorry, I have been making patch notes on it, but I'm just not interested. The current set just does not look enticing to me. But after we take a look at the new set, I will bring it back. By the way, if my camera looks a little different, that is because I have a new camera and I'm testing it out right now. I kind of don't like the filter. It looks really, really dark. But it is a higher quality camera. So, anyway, hail the victorious 3-peat champions. Welcome to patch 26.14. That's right, T1 won their 3rd Worlds in a row. It looks like we don't have a whole lot of nerfs and buffs, but we're going to go ahead and go into it. Azir getting changed. You know it's a focus on pro play. Azir is feeling more headless chicken than Valiant Falcon right now, but rather than straight numerical buffs, we're preening his feathers on impactful bugs and changing some rune interactions. Yeah. What the hell? My full screen. Whenever I see changes to Azir, the first thing I think is pro play, right? And I believe right now is EWC, right? Like we came off the back of MSI and we're going straight into EWC. So this is probably why they're not making the biggest amount of changes here. But I don't know. They're not going to be playing on this patch anyway, right? So I don't know. Maybe I'm just too used to thinking Azir means pro. So let's take a look-see here. Arise. On hit, more like on destroy. Scorch, Landish Torment, Blackfire Torch, and Hextech Alternator now deal 100% of your damage on hit instead of 50. Really? So burn effects now are at 100% efficiency on the soldier attacks. Double tap. Conqueror will now apply 2 stacks. Press the attack now applies to the primary target hit. Wow. Honestly, that sounds like a big deal to me. Opening up burn effects on Azir sounds pretty cool. But the fact that he can get full value out of Conqueror, despite being a ranged champion and a mage at that, I might be overreacting, but I think that's a huge deal. This champ builds a bunch of attack speed, and he's going to be able to apply Conqueror really quickly. I don't know if it'll be better than Lethal Tempo, which I think is what he probably normally goes. And press the attack as well. Wow. I'm actually very interested to see where they go with that. Emperor's Divide. Begone, peasant now knocks back jungle monsters. Did it not before? That's kind of weird. Yeah, I got this weird kind of brownish filter over everything. Like I said, I'm testing a new camera, so don't look at my face too closely. Corki, everyone's favorite incoherent aviator, is having trouble taking off in bot lane. So base stats, attack damage growth, 2 to 2.5. Missile barrage, remaining recharge time reduction, 2 to 4 seconds. Now 2 to 6 seconds. Huh. Yeah, I feel like Corki's pretty much always been a mid laner. At least in recent history, right? Like I feel like the past 5+ years, you really only see him mid lane. He was really popular bot for a little bit when they made some changes and removed the package. I remember he was popular bot lane for a little while then, but yeah, some changes to Corki here. I wonder if this is in a way in a response to the current public outrage over how effective mages bot lane are. Because a lot of people have been getting kind of upset recently. It's fun to be able to play champs in different roles, but it feels like mages are taking over every single role, right? Like one of the most powerful top laners right now is like Anivia for some reason. Which is, if I had to guess, it's because a lot of top laners literally cannot touch her, right? Like Anivia is this hard scaling pick, and if you're a melee champion, it is really difficult to even deal damage to her, depending on the melee champion, right? But it's like, if you're playing like a Set or a Darius, are you ever hitting her? Like she has to make a big mistake in order to be punished at all. Yeah, that basically that's what I'm saying. Because like right now, it's like Seraphine Sona's back to being super popular, right? For example, that's not fun to lane against. A number of mages aren't fun for AD carries to lane against because you can just do nothing really aggressive in lane. But the lane's also decided by the support. But if it's like Sona Seraphine, like how do you ever punish that without having like a Nautilus who just hits every hook? Yeah, it's weird. There's a lot of discussion to be had there. But yeah, Seraphine, or sorry, Corki. My mind was still on Seraphine Sona. Corki receiving some changes here to hopefully bring him back into a little bit of viability bot lane. So he'll have a little bit more damage overall and more missiles more consistently. Garen. Garen is dishing out too much justice across all skill brackets right now, so we're going to tap down Demacian Justice. His point and click execute. So Demacian Justice true damage, 150 to 350 plus 35% is now 125 to 275. The actual scaling didn't change, but they knocked off a bunch of base damage behind it. Okay. I mean, that's fair. Right? Garen is one of the enduring examples of a simple champion still being able to perform at a high level. Simply because there's like the counterplay to Garen is just never be close to him. Right? Like once he's already pressed Q on you, you're kind of just sitting there, and then he puts you to half health, and then he presses R, and then you die, and he's not really squishy. He's actually really tanky because he has stacking resistances. So he's kind of a mess overall because he's in the Juggernaut class, but he is not a Juggernaut. Right? He's practically an assassin at this point. He builds attack speed and crit while being not squishy. So I think this is a fair nerf. It's just a nerf to the number one thing in his kit you can't counterplay. Jace! Jace quickly climbed the ranks after our 2603 adjustments and has stayed at the top of the pack. Well, yeah, because he's effectively a range top with really high all-in potential. You either counterpick him or he just kind of wins lane. He's kind of like Gnar. I feel like Gnar's in the same spot. But a lot of people don't play Gnar, or at least I don't run into a whole lot of Gnar. But it feels like a champ that's like you counterpick it or you get spanked by it. So passive, Hextech Capacitor, bonus move speed, 40. It's now 30. He lost some movement speed. Mercury Hammer, bonus armor and magic resist. Ooh, he lost some armor and magic resist too. Wow. That's a big deal. That is a very big deal. 10 movement speed is a huge deal, believe it or not. Because Hexet Capacitor, his passive, it goes off every time he swaps stances. So that's minus 10 movement speed every time he swaps stances, which makes it a little harder for him to run away without proccing Storm Raiders. And then losing the a little bit of armor and MR means that he is squishier, so he has to be more careful about when he does his all-ins. Otherwise, you could turn it on him and kill him. I think this is a very good change for bringing Jace in line. Less movement speed and he's squishier. So you force the Jace to play smarter. Yeah. So it still starts the same at 5, but once he maxes his R, he has 9 less resistances. Locke. So, I haven't actually run into a lot of Locke. He is banned every single game. I don't know if that's everyone else's experience. I've seen him be played one time. He dropped 27 kills, and I have not seen this champion since, and I'm not even the one banning it. So, Locke's release is going relatively smoothly, and we're now tuning him down a bit as players have had time to pick him up. Yeah, like I said, I've only seen him once personally, 27 kills. I think that's always the case with new assassins, though, right? If you want an example of a champ that makes you think, wow, this is horrifically imbalanced, look at a Fed assassin. Especially a new one that people didn't know how to play against, and he builds magic damage. Oh. So, Ritual Nails. Nail recast hold time. So if I remember correctly, sorry. When he gets 3 projectiles from his Q, right? So you have a little bit less time in between when you can throw these projectiles. Nail damage also decreased just a little bit. That's per nail though, and he gets 3 of them. Mark base bonus damage, 20 through 6 is now 18 through 50. So if I recall correctly, the way this works is however many nails he hits you with his Q gets stuck in you, and then his next auto attack deals bonus damage for anyone with nails stuck in them, right? Soul Ignition. Damage taken gray health cap. 40 through 200, now 40 through 160. So a little bit less base survivability on that ability to run away. Okay. Like I said, I'm not quite the Locke expert. I've seen him in one game. I feel like maybe this will be enough for people to ease up on the ban rate so I can see more Locke and get to play a little bit of him myself. Because I have seen that some people have been playing him top lane. So I am a bit intrigued. Maybe this is a pretty good pick to counteract like the Anivias and the Auroras. Not entirely sure. But I'll just say that the nerfs are good since my only experience with it is it getting fed and ruining the game. Mordekaiser. Mord has lost a fair amount of power ever since the Riftmaker bug fix and could use some love. I mean, Mord's in a weird spot because he is exactly what I think of when I think of Juggernaut balancing, right? He's immobile, but he's like, you can't really fight him. You know, like very few champs can 1v1 him. He hits you with an R, you get too close to him, he's killing you every single time. But at the same time, if your champs have any mobility whatsoever, it can be really difficult for Mord to ever get to you in the first place without proccing like maybe a Rylai's. But then how does he proc Rylai's without getting in a range? He has to hit you with a Lucky Q, a Lucky E, maybe hit you with a Protobelt. So yeah, Mord's like definitely a low elo noob stomper, but I feel like he gets less and less effective as you get higher in ranking, which is how it should be. So Death's Grasp, 60 to 120 plus 40 is now 60 to 140 plus 45. So some more damage on his E, which is understandable. This ability is not really what you rely on to deal damage, so it is nice to get that little bit of extra when you do hit it. Realm of Death, stat steal increased to 13%. That is a big deal, actually. All right, well, I feel bad for you if you play in like what, gold and below, which is where most people play. Because Mord already shines quite heavily in the realm of play where most of the players are. This is a huge deal. 3% is a big deal. This is all your core stats, bro. Your ability power, your attack damage, your HP, your armor, your MR. That he's stealing all of that, and it stacks. And his Q scales with AD, by the way, nowadays. So, dude, rewarding him more for when he gets you in his grasp and enhancing the Lord of Death's 1v1 fantasy. Dude, that's a huge deal. Because Mord's biggest issue, aside from obviously is not being able to catch someone, is the fact that there are plenty of champs that absolutely can 1v1 him in the realm of death. So giving him an even bigger advantage? Holy crap. I like it. I like it a lot. I like it specifically because I'm biased towards all of the juggernauts. Except Garen, but once again, Garen's not really a juggernaut. Alright, Nami. Can we just nerf this character again? No, they're not nerfing it. Nami's been feeling a bit like a fish out of water since the mandate changes, especially when combined with her nerf. So Tidecaller's Blessing, her E, goes up by 20 at max rank. I don't know. I'm firmly against buffing enchanters. These champions are so low effort. They really are. Support mains, you can get mad at me all you want. I don't care. You play some of the easiest champs in the game in the role that requires the least amount of actual effort and skill to be able to play. Because, like, really, do supports really have to learn anything extremely complicated? Like, yes, at a high level of play, right? At an extremely high level of play, there's so much behind it, the gameplay and the rotations and the macro that makes a lot of sense. And a support can absolutely take over the game. But when I'm playing with randoms on Summoner's Rift, like, your average Nami doesn't know shit about macro. Literally, Diamond Plus, they don't know, they don't care. Your average Master's Nami just sits behind her ADC in lane and just hits them with W over and over. She could miss every bubble. She could whiff every ult, and it doesn't matter. She's useful. And I feel like this is the same with every enchanter, right? Like, even if Sona starts whiffing her ult, she's still useful. She's still doing something. And she can still pretend like she's really good at the game. What's up, David? But anyway, I'm not going to rant about enchanters. I do it every video. Speaking of supports, though, Senna. Even after her nerfs last patch, Senna's still tearing through the darkness and the light. Are you nerfing her passive again? They are, but they're nerfing the crit strike modifier. Interesting. Is it really her damage? I feel like it's like the slows and stuff. Oh, there it is. Ability power slow ratio minus 3% on ability power. So it's exactly what I was talking about. Ability power healing ratio also going down. So ability power kind of tapped down for the Senna here and less crit. I like her slow being nerfed, but I don't know if that's really going to be enough. How do Senna's even built nowadays? Do they still just do the Black Cleaver tech? I'm good, David. We're just going over the patch notes real quick while I got time. Seraphine. Another champ we were just complaining about. Ability power ratio on her Q. Down 10%. I mean, that makes sense. I'm pretty happy with that, actually. Let her do a little bit less damage. She's a little different from, like, other champs where she can't just, like... I mean, she used to be able to do this. She would build a lot of support items and then focus in on her W. I feel like that's not the case anymore. You're definitely building her AP and playing her in lieu of an ADC. So she's kind of like an APC in a lot of ways. So nice little damage nerf here. Make her a little less oppressive to lane against for certain champs. This is the main game. Yunara. Yunara's spirit is waning a little, so we're giving her a little more scaling. So just like with Corki, she is receiving a 0.5 damage growth to bring her back into things. I mean, honestly, all these changes make sense to me. I'm surprised we don't see a change to Sona here as well, but... Right. I think Nami is the only buff I don't agree with. But the nerfs make sense to me. The buffs on the other champions make a bit of sense. I'm a little skeptical of the Mordekaiser buffs because I feel like he's gonna smash lower elo. getting buffs like this. Like, Mord getting buffs, I just feel bad already for every silver player in the game. Items. Immortal Path. So these are actually the lifesteal boots. Damage increase while above 50% maximum health. Nerfed, actually. Healing and shielding while below. Also nerfed. So, yeah, I can understand this. Some champions are building the lifesteal boots and having the time of their life with them. Especially a lot of fighting centered champions, and even not just that, just you have a lot of champs that can just clear a minion wave very easily, especially mid lane. So them having the lifesteal boots, they just don't care. You just sustain forever. Which is a big issue that I'm sure a lot of different offenders can be called out on. So yeah, a little bit less damage and a little bit less healing when they're low. Should make it easier to kill people when they're scrapping. No, I'm not going to play that. Protoplasm Harness. So one of our premier tank items here. It's actually been very, very popular. I've noticed that almost every tank is building this. Even just their second item building this. Because it gives a huge amount of survivability. Overperforming across the board? It absolutely is. Every tank's building this. I'm not shocked to see nerfs here. So it costs 100 more gold. The bonus health is actually lower on the low end. The floor is 100 less. It still does scale up to the 300, but a little bit less HP on the floor. Healing, same thing here. The least amount you can get is lower. All right, it makes sense to me. When you're not getting the full value out of it, it is going to be weaker on the low end. Except Rocket Belt. Rocket Belt's popularity on usually immobile mages rather than AP bruisers is giving us flashbacks of the Gale Force days. Adjusting its stat incentives to make it slightly less appealing when compared to other damage-focused options. I guess that makes sense. The champs you want to be building this are like Sylas, maybe Mord, Echo, Fizz. I mean, I guess Echo and Fizz are closer to assassins than AP bruisers, though, but I think Sylas is probably the best example I can think of here. So, they've changed its build path. Instead of a Fiendish Codex and an Amp Tome, you're now building Kindle Gem and Ruby Crystal. They are giving it a longer cooldown. It has 10 less ability power, but 50 more HP. Yeah, so they tapped down its AP, buffed its HP, and gave it a longer cooldown. It kind of feels like a nerf because of the longer cooldown, but I think it is absolutely an adjustment, otherwise giving you more tank rather than damage. Blue buff. Ability haste, 10-15. 10-15-20, wow. Where the impact of mana in the jungle has been degraded over time, we want blue to have more reasons to be prioritized. I guess that makes sense, right? A lot of the champs that actually care about having mana in the jungle only really care for that first rotation. Because you just don't run out of mana in the jungle anymore. And you end up being able to share a blue buff with like your mid laner or anyone else who needs it anyway. So this makes sense. If you're a champ that does not care about blue, or, you know, obviously your mana issues stop being mana issues, extra ability haste. Your blue buff is more worth it now. And finally, the end of the season will be July 28th at midnight. So, if you are on your ranked grind, you officially have 13 days, so just about 2 weeks to get your goal rank before it comes to an end. Then we got some more changes to Aram Mayhem, Arena as well. Parental controls. Interesting. Parental controls. I mean, it is a very toxic game, so I guess maybe the language filter is not enough. That's interesting. They don't really show a whole lot here. I'm kind of interested, but not really, because obviously I'm not a child. That is interesting to think about. Is the amount of children who played this game high enough. I was under the assumption that the vast majority of League players were in the 20 plus age range. So that's very interesting to think that. I guess, yeah, it makes sense. There should be that sort of thing in the game anyway. Because even if there's only a few kids playing your game, no matter how small the child population is, you kind of have to have that accessibility for them. Because it's better safe than sorry when it comes to kids, right? All right. If you're one of the Clash players, registration began 2 days ago. And the tournament dates are 18th and 19th. So you got what, 4 days? 3 days, actually, to assemble your Clash teams and get ready for the MSI Cup, which I actually played in MSI Cup and I got a little trophy for it on my summoner profile. And of course, T1 were the world's winners. They're getting their new skins, which I've already taken a look at. I actually really like the Ambessa skin specifically, but you know, she's the only champ there that I play aside from Galio. Whenever I get a filled mid lane, I play Galio. And skin's nice, but I wouldn't take it over my chicken Galio, you know? Bug fixes, quality of life changes, trimmed redundant buffs that repeat information already clearly communicated elsewhere in the UI or gameplay state. Move most item buffs and durations into the inventory, reduce bar clutter, remove display very short duration debuffs and effects. Okay. Alright, cool. So yeah, we looked at these. By the way, this is the Victorious skin for Rengar. If you reached your goal rank, you should be able to get a Rengar skin here. It looks really nice to me because he has Kha'Zix's claw here. Right? So Victorious Rengar, I guess he was victorious over Kha'Zix. This NF skin is apparently going to be a Mythic Essence skin. Like, you'll be able to buy it directly, I believe, and then they're going to throw it into the Mythic Essence shop. Spooky. And yeah, that's going to be our patch notes. That is 26.14. Overall, not the biggest amount of changes, but I'm relatively happy with them. I think that most of the changes were justified. I think the only thing I'm on the fence about are the buffs to Nami and the buffs to Mordekaiser. Because I'm biased towards Juggernauts, but I feel like Mordekaiser is going to be smashing the competition, bro. I feel like in that average play range where most players are, Mord's about to start smacking. But again, it does make sense. I just feel bad for you if you lock in melee and you get counterpicked by Mordekaiser. And then, of course, you know, you all know my feelings about enchanters at this point in time. Someone called me out and said, well, you know, as a support, you got to learn this, this, and this. And it's like, dude, rotating to grubs is not a support exclusive thing. You are not special just because you can look at the big timer at the top of the screen and walk to the grubs. You know? Most of you enchanter mains are just sitting in lane. You walk up and down the river. You don't care about CS. You don't care about anything because you're a support. You don't need to care. No matter what anyone says, the skill floor for support. I'm not going to say anything about the skill ceiling, right? Obviously, if you're a very good player and you're playing support, you can make it work and you can do some crazy stuff. But here's the solid truth. Most of you are not carrier. Okay? Even when I go top lane and I play something super easy like Malphite, and I drop a bunch of CS because I'm stuck in a bad matchup, and I'm just trying to be useful later, at least I actually still care about laning properly. You supports, man, you enchanter supports especially, your game is the easiest game to play, and it is the easiest game to learn. You cannot change my mind. Be as upset about that as you want to be. The skill floor for support is at the absolute bottom. This is the only role in the game where you can sit back, do nothing, get no CS, clear an occasional ward, and end the game 0, 10, and 5, and still be proud of it. As long as you won. Right? I don't care, man. You enchanter mains, y'all piss me off. Alright, and I think that's everything. Let's take a look at the news here again. I feel like there was one more thing I wanted to look at. I guess we'll quickly take a look at Pabro and Medler and see what they have to say. Just quick.
Hey everyone, I'm Paul, aka Pabro. Be celebrating Worlds and our true calling, being a music company.
This is
Playing in the late
Yeah,
hours.
League Classic, we already took a look.
Friends, Rise's various
Yasuo, Yone, Cassante, Samira. To win a 1v1?
You didn't. Or rushing home to read the news on Surrender at 20.
It's moments like these that you've all pointed.
Or the high skill combo on Sion.
See, old Scion, my beloved. But like I said, apparently you're gonna have to like unlock these classic visuals, which is so stupid to me. It should just be a fun game mode.
Of pressing Q and W.
Well, great news. You can relive moments like this and more.
You guys aren't bringing healing back, are you?
Actually, yeah, we've got Innervating Locket, Emblem of Valor, a time machine where we relive League of Yore patch by patch. We loosely started with a Season 3 framework, but we wanted to grab from a variety of moments to create a greatest hits feeling for Classic.
So we'll have summoner spells, items, and champions from a variety of early seasons. We're trying to capture all the things you loved.
Unnerfed?
Tons of unnerfs.
One of our main goals is to preserve the more methodical and strategic.
Learning ways to mix and match your pregame setup.
Oh my god, old runes. Oh,
And we buffed
old runes. Oh my goodness.
a number of underused options.
Am I gonna have to buy all of them again?
More choice than ever before.
Also, all runes just start at the old tier 3, so no needing to buy your way up from tier 1.
Oh,
runes.
okay.
Rest in peace, Rune Combiner.
Don't worry about being undergeared from the start. The pace of unlocking them will be faster than in the past. And additionally, we'll provide default runes and mastery pages so you'll never be jumping into battle with nothing, even in your very first game.
That'll be for
All right,
the
sweet.
while preserving what makes Classic unique.
For example, Twisted Fate's Gate is truly global and available at level 1. And
No
we won't do
way.
that unless there's absolutely no other way to balance it.
Dude, oh, I accidentally clicked off, bro.
Hey everyone,
Bro, this is
I'm
gonna
Paul,
be so
aka
fun.
You've engaged.
I'm gonna have to play
So if
a
you spend
little
more
bit of
time with
classic
us,
at least.
You'll have more say in the direction Classic.
Classic-ish.
That's right. Ish. Whether you're coming back just for Classic, or are a regular ARAM aficionado, we're bringing a taste of Classic to a bridge near you with a new map, Classic items, and of course Classic-inspired augments.
This queue will have the 60 champions League Classic is launching with, but with their modern kits. And each team will also have their own champion pools, allowing for mirror matches like the old
Oh
days.
my god, mirror matches.
ARAM Mayhem
Holy crap.
Classic-ish will release alongside League Classic. There will
Talk a bit about our partner program. Creators, we see you, and we know the wait has been real. Well, good news. The League Partner Program is coming back and is ready for a new wave of creators to get in the mix.
Applications open in September, so whether you've been grinding content for years or you're just getting started, we want to hear from you. Keep an eye on our socials for more updates. And if you're not a creator but know someone who deserves a spot,
I mean, maybe I should try to apply. Maybe. I have a very low viewership,
please
but
do
who
let
knows?
us know.
Legends in a few weeks. We're not quite ready to reveal who. Keep your eyes peeled for when we announce going live on September 10th.
All right, that's it for us today.
All right, and a new Hall of Legends. Who cares? All right, so yeah, League Classic. I guess that'll be the next major thing we try to make a couple videos on just to see how badly we get dunked on. But otherwise, I think that's gonna do it for me. Yeah. So, once again, thanks to those of you who tuned in. David, I don't know if you're still there, but it was nice to see you, a new face. We are going to be dipping from here, and I will be back, I want to say tomorrow, where we're just going to randomly come on the League client and just play a few games. We're going to play probably regular Summer's Rift. We're going to play some ARAM Mayhem. We're going to play some Arena. And of course, we're going to play TFT, right? Because it's on the way out anyway, so I might as well get a couple games in just to see how I feel about it. You never know. I might get an addiction for it right away. Also, there's a Chunks treasure for... Well, I don't know if it's still there, but there was a Chunks treasure for Lore and Legends. So anyway, that's going to do it for me. Thank y'all for tuning in. Let me know how what you think about the camera, if it looks okay. I think it looks all right, but I kind of don't like this grainy-ish filter. So, yep, that's going to do it for me. I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.